Okay, so here are the 9 most common mistakes that people make when they're trying to sell their home. The first mistake is pricing the home incorrectly. So a lot of sellers want to make as much money as they can off of the sale of their home, and that's common. The problem is listing at a price that's too high often turns off credible buyers. They look at the home, they see the price, and they automatically think that they can find a bigger home for that price somewhere else on the market. And at the same time, people who should be looking at your house aren't, because it's priced over their budget. So ultimately, overpricing your home has the adverse effect. It leads to more days on the market. More days on the market means more money spent on marketing, advertising, open houses, all things that take time in getting a home sold. So yeah, it is good to get the best price for your home, but you definitely don't want to overprice. Okay, so now let's move on to the second mistake, which is failing to showcase your home. So think of it this way. If you're looking to buy something, you're looking to buy something that you want to live in. If you go to a seller's house and the lawn isn't mowed or the inside looks horrible, you're not going to see yourself living there because it doesn't look livable. If your realtor's doing their job, then they should be having buyers come in on a regular basis to view the home. And if that is the case, don't you want the home to look as presentable as possible? Overall, just keeping the home neat and clean makes your home ready to sell and presentable to sell at a moment's notice. So the third mistake when you're trying to sell your home is being too aggressive and going for that hard sell during showings. When a buyer is looking at your house, they're really trying to make an emotional decision to see if they can attach themselves to the place, if they can envision themselves and their family in the place for a long period of time. So make sure that you give them space to do that. It's really difficult for potential buyers to make decisions on home buying when you or a realtor is following them around, informing them on every update, every memory of a home. You want to give them space. You want to allow them to walk around. You don't want to be in their face. You definitely don't want to turn them off. So the best thing you can do is just relax. Let the buyer look around, let them get a feel for your house, let them decide if they're emotionally attached to it or not. While the agent who's working with them can give them any updates on any specific features that you want them to know about. So now we're on to the fourth mistake, mistaking lookers for buyers. Let's not kid ourselves, right? It's debatable on whether a for sale by owner property or a property marketed by a realtor brings more buyers. But the one thing that we do know is that a realtor is going to ask the questions to qualify buyers. And questions about their budget, questions about their credit, things that they need to know to bring a ready, willing, and able buyer to the transaction. And more common than not, it's a for sale by owner isn't going to get their chance. They might get the property marketed, but it's going to take some time for them to sift through buyers and find credible buyers. And they may spend time focused on the wrong type of buyer. Whereas a realtor, from the beginning, is qualifying buyers, putting buyers through the process to get them qualified. So by the time they bring them to your listing, they're already ready. And with that said, we're on to mistake number 5, not knowing your rights and obligations. So putting it mildly, real estate law sucks. It's extensive, it's complex, there's a lot going on. Laws change from area to area. It's in some places it is a numbers game. It's a lot of different things going on. So keep in mind that although you can't expect your realtor to know everything, you should expect them to be able to willing to research and figure it out. That is the most important thing. But the problem with that is that those are just things that you don't know or have access to. And in the short time that you're trying to sell your home, you shouldn't be expected to have to do the research and to learn all that. So reach out to a realtor, one who has no problem if they don't know, trying to find out, or going through the proper channels to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Now let's talk about mistake number 6. And that is signing a listing contract that does not put you first. So listing agents always go into a opportunity with great intentions to sell your house. And the thing about it is everyone is confident. Every realtor is confident going into a situation that they can bring you the right buyer, get your house sold in the right time frame, everything that you're looking for. The problem is things change. Realtors are people. We have feelings too. So keep in mind that if anything happens, that you need to be protected. There could be anything from a death in the family to a last minute trip or emergency trip out of town. There are a lot of things that can happen that can change the dynamics of the current contract in place. So just make sure that you're protected with something like a right to cancel, or just anything you can do to hold your realtor accountable and hire another realtor if you feel like your realtor is not performing. If you have any questions, you can send me a message or send me an email, and I'll be happy to go through what your options are. On to mistake number 7, and that's not getting your property the right exposure for the market. So the great thing is, now there are more ways than ever to market a property to get maximum exposure. The great agents actually take time to deploy multiple ways, looking at the market as far as how people digest information in different ways. So the best thing to do is sit down with your realtor, ask them what their marketing strategy is, ask them how they go about it. Realtors, like we said, the good realtors really use multiple ways outside of just open houses and door knocking to get eyes on your property. So before we get into the next mistake, let me first say this. There have been a lot of changes in the industry. This does take place sometimes, just not as common, and that's because of the amount of regulation that has come into the appraisal industry since the housing crash and just a lot of other events. But the 8th most common mistake is mistaking a refinanced appraisal for the actual price of the home. All right, so keep in mind that an appraisal is really just an opinion. It's a lender looking at a property who, if they really want to give you the money for a loan, they're looking for a favorable appraisal. So the way to combat that is to really, like I said, work with a realtor. Going back to the mistake number 1, realtors are going to try to find the correct market price for your home, and they're not going to inflate it to try to get the home sold. They're going to look at the market, and they're going to get it priced correctly and in your best interest. On to the last mistake: picking the wrong realtor. If you can't tell by now, it takes a lot to successfully market and sell a property. Realtors have to do a lot. They have to wear a lot of hats. They have to be pulled in a lot of different directions at one time. So make sure your realtor is ready for that process. Make sure they're ready for negotiations. Make sure they're ready for marketing and exposure like we spoke about earlier. Just take the time to interview and get to know your realtor. Find out about their process. Ask them, like I said, about their strategy. Those are all things that are going to come into play in how successful selling your home is going to be. Too often than not, people pick their friends or relatives as their realtor without putting them through that process, that due diligence to verify that they're the right person to sell your home. It's a daunting task, so take the time, talk to someone, make sure that they're a good fit. So here we are at the end. No more mistakes, just you selling your home. Go ahead, take the time, watch this a few times, listen to the mistakes, try to make sure that you take this information and use it the right way. I hope that if you are deciding to sell your home, that you have much success. And if there's anything I can do for you, I'll make sure that my information is listed. westhomesales.com. My name is Maurice with Coldwell Banker, and you have a great day.